Imagine this, an alligator, with all its size and strength, hiding under the shade of a tree, refusing to leave. It seems like a simple behavior, but this choice reveals something deeper, not just about the alligator, but about us too. So, why is it so frustrating to be the alligator that just wants to rest in the shade? Now, imagine that alligator again. It has everything it needs within reach: shade to escape the heat, a swamp full of food. Yet, something feels off. Something's missing. Have you ever felt like that? Safe, comfortable, but with that nagging sense of dissatisfaction? In today's video, we're going to explore why the alligator's shade isn't as relaxing as it seems, and what that has to do with your life. Together, we'll uncover how the shades we hide under can turn into traps, keeping us from truly living. Why do both the alligator and we humans choose to stay in the shade? For the alligator, the explanation is simple: survival instinct. Staying still conserves energy and avoids attracting predators. It's the ultimate energy-saving strategy. For us humans, though, things are a bit more complex. Our shade could be anything: a job that no longer excites us, a routine that makes us feel stuck, or even that constant fear of taking risks. Like the alligator, we choose comfort to protect ourselves. But unlike the alligator, we're aware of it. We feel the frustration of standing still as time keeps moving forward. The trouble is, this comfort zone, so safe at first glance, can quickly turn into a trap. It promises protection but often delivers stagnation. And just like the alligator, we end up waiting for life to bring us something different, not realizing that maybe we need to step out of the shade to find what we're truly seeking. Today, we'll dive into why this shade isn't as beneficial as it appears. But don't worry, it's not just about pointing out the problem. We'll also talk about how to break free from this inertia and transform that stuck feeling into a driving force for change. First, we'll look at the real cost of staying in the shade and how this rest can bring more frustration than joy. Then, we'll explore what the alligator, with all its calm demeanor, can teach us about taking action. Finally, we'll discuss practical ways to step out of the shade without the overwhelming pressure to change everything at once. Because, as the saying goes, every journey begins with a single step. Are you ready to stop being the alligator in the shade and start living fully? Let's find out how. The alligator's swamp and the human comfort zone. The swamp is the alligator's home. It's where it feels safe, with everything it needs: food, shade, and space to rest. But at some point, the swamp also becomes a prison. By staying confined to this comfortable space, the alligator loses the chance to explore the world beyond its safe zone. The swamp, which should be where it feels most free, actually limits what it can experience. Now, think of your life as that swamp. You have your comfort zone, the place where you feel secure. It might be a job you no longer love, a routine that doesn't challenge your potential, or even a relationship that isn't evolving anymore. At first, everything seems fine. But as time passes, you start to feel stuck, like something is missing. It feels as if life is happening outside of this zone while you remain there, unmoving. This is the trap of comfort. It convinces us we're protected when, in reality, we're just postponing change. The alligator isn't doing anything wrong by choosing the swamp, but by becoming too accustomed to it, it loses itself in the safety that ultimately prevents it from exploring the possibilities the world has to offer. What if, instead of staying trapped in your swamp, you started seeking something more? Something outside your comfort zone, where real growth happens? Let's reflect on that. Survival instinct versus the desire for growth. The alligator, in its animal wisdom, acts purely on survival instinct. It doesn't think about progress or becoming something greater. Its main mission is to ensure food and safety. It's not seeking transformation or new territories. For the alligator, staying in the shade is enough. But when we look at ourselves, as humans, our situation is entirely different. We're endowed with consciousness, which gives us something the alligator lacks: the desire to grow. However, this desire for progress often clashes with our survival instinct. Our minds frequently tell us to avoid risk, to stay in the comfort zone, because the fear of failure looms large. This instinct for safety keeps us stagnant, even as our drive for growth is stifled. And here's the big question: how can we balance the desire for progress with the instinct for survival? How can we find the courage to step out of the shade without losing our sense of security? Abraham Maslow, the renowned psychologist, offers us a clue with his hierarchy of needs. According to him, once our basic needs for safety and sustenance are met, our strongest impulse should be self-actualization. Yet many of us remain stuck in the lower levels of this pyramid, simply because we don't dare to leave our comfort zone. The frustration of the alligator in the shade mirrors our own frustration when the desire to grow meets internal barriers. And so, we start to ask ourselves, is our comfort zone protecting us, or is it imprisoning us? The illusion of perfect rest. The alligator in the shade seems to be living the dream, a world of absolute rest. Nothing disturbs it, nothing challenges it. It doesn't have to worry about what's happening beyond its comfort zone. But here's the catch: this perfect rest comes at a cost. Deep down, the alligator is simply avoiding discomfort and effort. And in doing so, it's also avoiding the chance to grow. This is where the great illusion lies: excessive rest can be just as harmful as overwork. By staying in the shade, the alligator may appear physically relaxed, but emotionally, it is lost, stagnant, and without purpose. What about you? How many times have you sought that perfect rest? Stayed in your comfort zone, believing happiness would come from not having to face challenges? At first, it feels great. But over time, you begin to realize that rest doesn't truly fill your life. It only delays the confrontation with what really matters, your evolution. The paradox is simple: too much inactivity, the constant search for endless rest, leads to a silent frustration, a feeling that something essential is missing. Instead of feeling rejuvenated, you feel empty. Just like the alligator, who may sense a latent need for action but is too afraid to take the next step, many of us remain in this cycle of rest, feeling an ever-growing inner void. The question is, how long will we let this illusion of rest keep us from what we truly need to live a meaningful life? The swamp, refuge or prison? The swamp is the alligator's home, a refuge that provides safety, shade, and comfort. But is this place truly a home, or is it a disguised prison? By settling into its comfort zone, the alligator becomes a prisoner of inactivity, unaware that its safety is actually a limitation. Similarly, many of us are trapped in our invisible prisons, routines, limiting beliefs, or choices that keep us stuck. We seek security, but this pursuit often holds us back from growth. True happiness and progress don't come from inertia but from stepping out of our comfort zones and embracing challenges. Viktor Frankl, a psychotherapist and Holocaust survivor, wrote about the importance of purpose in life. He warned against becoming complacent in familiar situations, even when they lead to a meaningless existence. The alligator's swamp is a perfect metaphor for our comfort zones. True evolution begins when we decide to leave our swamps and strive for something greater. Why rest isn't always rejuvenating? The alligator spends its days in the shade, avoiding effort, thinking it's recovering. But in reality, it's sinking into inactivity, preventing itself from truly living. Excessive rest can be as harmful as endless work. We humans often seek constant rest, believing it will bring us peace. Yet the lack of challenges leaves us feeling empty, disconnected, and purposeless. The concept of eustress, or positive stress, teaches us that well-directed stress is essential for growth. It pushes us to leave our comfort zones and reach new heights. Like the alligator avoiding movement, we too become stagnant. Rest without purpose doesn't bring renewal, it only delays the necessary change. True rest doesn't come from avoiding effort but from balancing rest and action, silence and challenge. So, next time you seek shade, ask yourself, is this the rest I need, or is it just an escape from what I truly need to face to grow? The conflict between animal instinct and human rationality. The alligator acts purely on instinct, resting in the shade as a natural response to its environment. It doesn't need to think, its behavior is shaped by the need to survive, conserving energy in avoiding exhaustion. Humans, however, with our capacity for rationality, face a dilemma: do we follow our instincts, or do we use reason to seek something greater? Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize-winning psychologist, explains in Thinking, Fast and Slow the difference between System 1, instinctive and quick, and System 2, deliberate and reflective. System 1 drives us to seek comfort and avoid challenges. The problem is that, like the alligator, we often let our instincts take over, choosing the safety of inaction. By doing so, we miss the chance to use our rationality to grow and transform. The question is, are we, like the alligator, surrendering to comfort, or can we challenge our limits and reach for the sunlight of new opportunities? From the swamp to the journey, what can the alligator teach us? The alligator offers a valuable lesson: while it remains in the shade, it feels safe but misses the chance to explore, grow, and discover something new. Like the alligator, we often create our own comfort zones. These zones protect us, but they also confine us. Life invites us to step out of the shade and face the brightness of the sun, with all its uncertainties and opportunities. True transformation doesn't happen where there's absolute safety but in the controlled discomfort that challenges us to become better and to grow. So, what does the alligator teach us? That we shouldn't let our fears or an insatiable pursuit of comfort define our lives. Taking a leap into the unknown, though intimidating, is the first step toward evolution. Sometimes, what we need most is exactly what we fear. Turn your shade into sunshine. Throughout this video, we've explored the metaphor of the alligator resting in the swamp's shade and the human tendency to hide in their comfort zone. We've seen how constant rest and the pursuit of safety can paradoxically leave us stagnant. But here's the secret: transformation lies beyond the shade. Just as the alligator must leave its safe shelter to thrive, we too must find the courage to face the risks of the unknown. It's in that initial discomfort that we discover new possibilities, grow, and rediscover ourselves. So, here's the challenge: identify your own shade and take the first step to leave it behind. The sun, with all its potential to illuminate your path, is waiting for you. The journey to growth and self-discovery starts now. If this video made you reflect, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. And what about you? How will you turn your shade into sunshine? The journey is yours to live.